Have you ever tried to be someone you're not, just to fit in? In Bluey's movies, what starts as a lighthearted trip to the cinema quietly unravels into something else. It's not really about popcorn or previews. It's about something deeper, a choice we all make, a mask we all wear, and the quiet cost of pretending. It starts with thunder, not in the sky, but in Bluey's imagination. Just the idea of a storm in a movie trailer is enough to make her hesitate, and yet she pushes forward because Mackenzie's seen it, because everyone else is ready, because being scared would make her different, and different feels wrong. As Bluey walks through the cinema doors, her eyes are wide, not with excitement, but with quiet dread. She's not skipping like Bingo, who's lost in her own little world of popcorn and play. Bluey is trying to hold herself still, to hold it together. From the very first moment, we're shown the tension between being yourself and being accepted, between honesty and performance. And we're reminded some of the most courageous battles happen entirely inside. Maybe you felt that too, that invisible pressure to be normal. Maybe it was in a classroom or at a party or somewhere quiet like a church or a theater. Just a small voice in your head saying, "Don't let them see you flinch." And that's exactly what movies captures. Not with dramatic speeches or big revelations, but in the smallest, quietest moments. Because underneath the spilled popcorn and cartoon monkeys, this isn't really an episode about going to the movies. It's an episode about masks. It's about the pressure children feel to be ready, to be like their friends, to not make a fuss, to hide the parts of themselves that might stand out. But even more than that, it's about how early we learn that being different can make us feel less than. The heart of the story lies in Bluey's simple, aching line, "I wish I wasn't different." There it is. The truth most of us carry, even as adults. The fear that who we are isn't quite right, that our fears make us weak, that our uniqueness makes us alone. Bluey thinks she's failing because she's not like Mackenzie, because the thunder scares her, because she's the only one who's not ready. But here's the secret. This isn't a failure story. It's a becoming story. And like all good journeys of self-discovery, it starts in a dark room, with eyes closed and a storm on the way. For adults, movies hits close to home in a way that's easy to miss. Because many of us never really stop doing what Bluey does. We tell ourselves we should be braver by now, that we shouldn't cry during commercials, that we should be able to sit through the thunder, emotional or otherwise, without flinching. We don't want to be the sensitive ones, the overthinkers, the ones who cover our eyes when life gets too loud. But Bluey reminds us, sensitivity is not weakness. It's awareness, it's depth, it's humanity. There's a painful beauty in how Bluey tries to push herself. She grabs her dad's hand. She peeks at the screen. She even pretends she's enjoying it, just to match what she thinks she should feel. And then, the storm comes, and with it, her honesty. "Dad, I want to go now." Not a tantrum, not a meltdown, just a soft surrender, a whisper of truth from a child trying her best. And it's here that Bandit shines, not as a hero, but as a witness. He doesn't mock, he doesn't push, he simply says, "Okay, no worries." For parents watching, it's a masterclass in emotional safety. I think we all remember the adults who told us to toughen up, but we never forget the ones who made us feel safe, who said, "You don't have to if you're not ready." The ones who let us be soft, without shame, because Bluey's lesson isn't just for kids, it's for us too. The part of us still hiding in the dark, still hoping no one notices how scared we really are. And Bandit, he models what every adult longs to hear. You don't have to prove anything. You don't have to be like everyone else. You're allowed to be afraid. And that message, that quiet permission to be yourself, doesn't just come from Bandit, it echoes from the screen too. Because while Bluey is watching Chunky Chimp, something unexpected happens. At first, It feels like comic relief, a silly pink monkey in a cartoon. But listen closely, and you'll hear something profound. Chunky is different. He builds strange inventions. He wants to leave the trees, the safe, expected place, and go to the groundlands. And for that, his own friend questions him. Why do you have to be so different? It's the same question Bluey asks herself. The same question we ask ourselves when we feel out of step. But Chunky doesn't stop being himself. He keeps going. He builds, he falls, he rides into the storm, and at one point, he sings his feelings while pedaling through thunder, as one does. And as Bluey watches him, even while covering her eyes, something shifts. When Chunky finally soars into the sky, not despite his weirdness, but because of it, Bluey gasps. He made it. In that moment, her mask falls away. She stops pretending, and she sees, maybe for the first time, that being not ready, being some kids, being different, doesn't make her broken. It makes her brave. Bluey doesn't finish the episode by conquering her fear. She still flinches, still hides, still almost leaves. But when she decides to stay, not because she's ready, but because she wants to be, something powerful happens. She reclaims her own pace. She lets herself be a work in progress. And as Bingo bounces in and out of frames like pure chaos in motion, Bluey grounds herself. For the first time, she stops trying to be like Bingo or Mackenzie or anyone else. She just is. Meanwhile, Bingo's bouncing through the theater like a rogue pinball in a bucket hat. And honestly, she's thriving. And me? I used to think growing up meant hiding those soft parts. But maybe it's the opposite. Maybe real growth is learning how to carry them gently without apology. And when Bandit tells Bingo, just be yourself, it isn't just advice for a silly little sister. It's a whisper to all of us. To the parts we've quieted, the quirks we've flattened, the softness we've buried just to get by. You don't have to keep up. You don't have to be fearless. You don't have to be like them. You can just be you, and that is enough. So as you see, it's not about the movie at all. It's about what it costs to pretend you're fine, and the quiet miracle of admitting when you're not. It's about the strength it takes to say, I'm scared, and the gift it is to have someone whisper back, that's okay. In the end, Bluey doesn't conquer her fear with force. She doesn't power through or muscle over it. She grows into herself gently, in the safety of a father's hand, in the rhythm of her own heart. We live in a world that rewards loudness, confidence, and speed. But movies invites us to slow down, to soften, to remember the child we once were, the one who whispered, I wish I wasn't different, and still waits for someone to say, I'm glad you are. Because difference is not something to overcome, it's something to honor. And the moment we do, the moment we let ourselves feel, falter, and begin again, we start to fly. Not because we've mastered anything, but because we've stopped hiding. Not soaring, not perfect, just real, just enough. And that is brave too. If this episode stirred something in you, maybe a memory, maybe a feeling, you're not alone. We'd love to hear your story in the comments. What part of yourself are you learning to accept? And who in your life made you feel safe enough to simply be? If Bluey keeps showing you how children's stories can speak to the deepest parts of you, consider liking this video and subscribing. Until next time, be gentle with your heart.